how to set up a Pocket Strobe medium boomstick. So basically we're gonna be getting more power, but we're still doing pocket strobes. So this is gonna be roughly, well, about 150 to 180 watt seconds worth of light with 3 strobes set up, or 3 pocket strobes. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you're gonna need is either a cold shoe version of this. This is the Cheetah TS-H120. This is a 3 bracket hot shoe mount, okay? So you can have a cold shoe version of this, which, for example, the Westcott Triple Threat is the cold shoe version of this exact thing. Well, they don't look the same, but it has the same functionality. The hot shoe version of this has a 3.5 millimeter port here right on the side that I can run a Pocket Wizard cable to and trigger all the flashes on this, because these are all hot shoe feet or ports, whatever you want to call it. And all it does is it mounts to a single 1/4-20 male screw on the bottom side. Okay, so all I need to do here is, the beautiful thing about this is that we can mount this to virtually anything. Let's say that we don't have a light stand with us. Let's say that we forgot it, but we do have our tripod. Well, the tripod, again, it comes standard with that 1/4-20 mount for the bottom of your camera, and that's the same mount for this guy. So all I have to do is just screw this guy right onto the tripod plate, and now we are basically good to go. Also, if I wanted to just put it onto a light stand, I could grab my little spigot here. All I need is a 3/8 inch to 1/4-20 adapter, which is this guy. Put that right here onto there, and now I can mount it directly to my light stand. So the point being is that I want to show you all how easy it is to adapt and to put these devices and brackets onto virtually anything. So if you want it to be, on a tripod, you can put it on that. You want it to be on a light stand, you can put it on that. You want it to be on a C stand, you can put it on that. You just need the right, basically, adapter to do so. So let's go ahead, Logan, you want to take this guy out of the frame just so we don't need this anymore? Thanks, buddy. Look at that, it kind of just like crept out of the frame like on its own 2 legs. That was a little creepy. But that's all due to Logan. Logan's awesome. And Joe's awesome. My team is awesome. Okay, so now that this is on our light stand, let's go ahead and just pop the flashes on. And I'm going to show you in just a moment. Of course, this bracket right here, this Cheetah, is best when used with manual strobes, but right now we're using full feature strobes. So if you're using full feature strobes, all you need is the Westcott Triple Threat, which is 30 bucks instead of like 50 or 60 bucks for this guy. But it's still going to allow me to demonstrate this, and I want to use it for that demonstration. Okay, I'm gonna grab my other Mitros. This is 4 Mitroses. And you can see how this is already getting kind of expensive, right? Because we're using 4 pocket strobes. These are each 400 bucks a pop. And so if we need this much power, we might be just better off going with, say, larger strobes, say going with a medium strobe or even a full strobe. But the benefit of this is, of course, there is a lot of portability to this, because we can have this inside of like a carry-on bag and we can set up, on location. And it's very simple and easy to do. Now with these directed forward, you can see that I now have 3 flashes all set up together. Okay, so before I go ahead and put the Westcott Apollo strip box on here, let me just show you how I would operate this. I'm gonna flip these around just so you guys can see the backs of these. Okay, I'm gonna turn all of them on. I have my Odin right here. So generally, when I'm firing everything from a single light source, I'll place all these on the same channel and group. So I'm gonna put them all on channel 1 and on group A. So let's place this guy. Keep pressing the wrong button, there we go. Group A, let's go to this guy, same thing, group A. Perfect, so everything's channel 1 and group A. Now on here, I can control channel 1 and group A just directly from that top line, and so I'm gonna power everything in channel 1 and group A up to 1/8 power, okay? Perfect. Now I'm gonna place this back towards you guys, and you all can see that as I start shooting, all 3 of these are firing each and every time. Now that gives me 3 times the power in a single light source, right? All we have to do at this point is, if we want to modify that light, we can place a modifier over this so that we have modification. So let's go ahead and do that, but we're gonna do that in just one moment, because I do wanna demonstrate the syncing capabilities of our little Cheetah thing before we continue. So let me just pop in a Pocket Wizard. I'm just gonna plug it right into the port. So there's a port right here on this side, and I don't need to set up a Pocket Wizard on my camera. I just wanna demonstrate this one feature. Okay, so now with this plugged in, I can basically trigger all three of these flashes. But here's the thing, if I click test right now, you'll find that none of them are actually working. The reason is that the way that these flashes work, these are full feature flashes, and I have them set all as Odin receivers. Remember the radio modes that we talked about earlier. So they're not prepped to receive any sort of signal. So what I need to do on each of them is I need to go back and basically turn them to operational slaves, okay? So basically we're just gonna flip these to the radio mode where it would actually allow something else to trigger these guys. Now generally this isn't necessary, like say on a, if you're on a manual flash, this isn't a step that you have to do. But here's the thing is that I don't want to take all three of these off and put manual strobes on there. It'd just take too much extra time. So we're going to assume that we're using manual strobes all around. And now with a single Pocket Wizard, I can trigger all three of these flashes at the same time, okay? So that's how that works. Now they're all set to 1-to-1 right now, so their recycle times are very slow. So if I do it again, there we go, lovely. Okay, so that's how we would trigger 3 manual strobes that are all placed on this hot shoe bracket via a Pocket Wizard. That way we don't need 3 Pocket Wizards to do so. So let's go ahead and just unplug that. I'm gonna go ahead and put my Odin, I don't know why I took this guy off. I thought I was gonna set it up for you all, but go ahead and place this back on the camera. Let me set this guy down here, and we're gonna go ahead and just flip. By the way, to flip the radio modes on this guy, all I'm doing is I'm pressing this button right here. It's the M-S button, master slave button. You hold it down, and then it gives you the different radio modes. So I want it to be in an Odin receiver mode, okay? So all of these are gonna be receivers for whatever Odin trigger that I'm using. So I'm gonna place Odin receiver, and same thing here. Go back to Odin receiver, okay? We can double check just to make sure that all 3 of these are still working by just grabbing our Odin trigger. Okay, we're all good. Okay, so now at this point, this is where we would say, let's place the modifier on here. So generally before I place all the modifiers, I just try and get everything on the same channel, the same grouping and everything to get it all set up. Because I don't want to really fiddle around with radio settings once this is set. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna open up, this is the Westcott Apollo strip. I'm demonstrating with this guy because he's smaller than the Apollo orb. And so it's a little bit easier for me to kind of navigate this on our set. So we're just gonna open this up. At the bottom, you see this zipper right there. So we're just gonna go ahead and open up the zipper. Let me just bring this down a little bit actually. There we go. Okay, and now we're gonna place this entire thing just over our flashes. Now here's what we gotta do. Notice how the flashes are pointing towards you guys. What I wanna do is I wanna have the backs of the flashes facing outside, okay? The reason why is because if I need to make any adjustments, it's easier to do that from this side. So I'm just gonna turn these all so that they're facing into that softbox, and then we're gonna place this item right through the umbrella port right there. We're gonna open it up, the umbrella port a little bit, and then just bring that rod through and tighten it up. So now we have that placed. Now once this is placed, this is when we'd come down and just zip up the bottom piece right here, because this is what prevents basically light spill from leaking out, so from losing too much light. All right, so now we're basically all set. So now we've turned our 3 flashes here, our medium boomstick, into a modified light. So now when I fire, you can see all 3 of them are firing into the back of that, and then they're coming out. Now, the other wonderful thing, obviously it's very easy to connect the diffusion panel to this. I do want to show you all real quick the grid panel. So this is the Westcott Apollo strip grid. And I'm gonna go ahead and just set this up real quick so you guys can see it. Even though I'm kind of stepping out of frame, it is okay. So all this does is it just Velcros around the outside of our strip box. And what I would do is I would generally diffuse this as well. So it's diffused and gridded. So that way I can really control where the light is going. Okay, so we're just gonna attach that to the top. Go to the right side. Okay, attach the bottom of the right side and then go through the middle and do the bottom. I'm not gonna do a very I'm not going to do a very thorough job of this right now. We're just going to do it kind of haphazardly. All right. Just so you guys get the basic gist of this. So very quickly, very easily, I now have a strip. I have a strip softbox, or a gridded strip softbox. And again, the beautiful part about this is just how small this all packs up to be when you need it to take it on location. So when you need to take this anywhere, it folds up to the size of umbrellas. You get everything, including the light stands, the flashes, all inside of one small little, bag. And you take this on a location, you have a full softbox with grid, with diffusion, with everything that you could possibly need. And inside of it, we have basically a total of around 160, roughly 150 to 160 watt seconds worth of power, or roughly, like a 180 guide number. So I have 3 of these strobes, which is a decent amount of power. 3 of these strobes is basically enough to kind of basically balance daylight. So you can shoot with 3 of these modified strobes at full power. You will be able to see that light when modified over your subject. The only thing is that you need to place your modifier close to the subject still, because it's not that much power. So 3 modified strobes will actually be visible in daylight. But again, for the price, you're talking about quite an expensive setup for these items. But here, check this out. This is the beauty in having a full feature system when you're set up like this. Now I don't have to have an assistant reach through the side and try and make adjustments to the power and the zoom. I can do all of that just directly from my remote right here. So if I want to power these all up to full power, I can do that. And now when I fire, I have full power recycles. Of course, it's not going to recycle now because everything's firing at full power. You can hear them all each recycling. Okay, so that's how to set up this portable medium boomstick. You can place this onto a boom, you can place it onto a light stand, you can place this onto a C-stand, onto a tripod, wherever you want, but have 3 times the power with simply pocket strobes. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let's go ahead and move to the next gear setup now.